You guys doing on today? I am super duper excited because guess what, guys? Today, hot off the press, we get to hang out with Callie Murray on today. Her new release is called The Brunswick. First of all, guys, I need you to take a look at the cover. Okay, check out the cover. I absolutely love the cover. Not only that, guys, it's historical fiction. It has been out for a few weeks, but she's going to share with us a little bit on today. And as I always say here at the cafe, she may spill a little tea, she may spill a lot of tea, but I can guarantee you there will be some tea spilling on today. And of course, you guys know what to do here at the cafe. Like, tag, and share. Tell a friend to tell a friend to come on down to the cafe because we are hanging out with Callie Murray on today and her new release, The Brunswick. Callie, welcome to the cafe, my friend.
Thank you. You're so fun, Angela. I should start every day with you.
Look, and I love to have fun at the cafe. And today I'm super excited, Callie, because we're having a lunchtime literary cafe. So I shared with the people, I was like, you know what? Bring your lunch, pull up a seat and enjoy. And so, Callie, I'm going to allow you, my friend, to introduce yourself to the people today.
Okay, so fun. Yeah, Callie Murray. I live in a little town called Norcross, Georgia, which is where the Brunswick is actually set. I am an entrepreneur. So I've built businesses throughout my career, and I wrote a novel recently, which honestly feels a lot like building a business. So this kind of like my new, just the new path I'm going down is this historical fiction author world. So the Brunswick released 2 weeks ago, and it has been so much fun.
I love that. I love it. Now, one thing, Callie, that I enjoy, I love a good Southern fiction, but if it kind of have some backdrops to, in the Southern states or what have you. So Georgia, this one does as well. Now, I want to ask you this, okay? So we know that you're kind of in the historical fiction vein, but for this story, the Brunswick, and of course, we have to talk about that cover as well as the title. But before we go into that, for you, when you first saw the cover of the Brunswick, what was that like for you, my friend?
Yeah, it's funny. So the publisher asked us to give a whole list of inspiration, and the inspiration I sent was all over the place, but also very specific. I'd be like, I like this type of font and this placement and this. I want to sketch, and I just thought like, there's no way they're going to get anywhere close to what I like because I didn't even know how to explain what I like. And
Yeah,
the cover that you see is actually the first draft, which is unbelievable.
really.
Like they sent it and it was like, like, bells and whistles. It is so beautiful. And yeah, I just think it's such a good mix of it's historical, but it's still kind of relevant. It has this like dark eeriness, but also it's kind of hopeful. And I love it. I was
I
thrilled.
love it. Now, Callie, you're dropping tea already to find out that that was like the first draft or what have you. I love that. And I love the colors, the blues and different shades of blues and all of that stuff as well. Now, we have to talk about this title, Callie. The Brunswick. That's it. Just two words. The Brunswick. Can you share with us or spill some tea? Was this Callie's original working title? Or did this title come along later? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Oh, good questions. Okay. So there's actually a phrase I use in the book 2 or 3 times that is called, it's as long as we have left. And so that
Mhm.
was what the book was called in my brain for a while, as long as we have left. But
Really?
yes, and it's funny because for a while, it's kind of a important phrase, the way it's used, but even as I would say it to people, I would say it wrong sometimes. Like, I would say, "As long as you have left, as long as they have left, as long as we have left," and it was a lot of words. I mean, if you start counting them up, and it was not the right title. And
Okay.
so at some point, the book is set in this old hotel called the Brunswick, and I've had multiple people say the Brunswick is like its own character, and the
Yeah.
Brunswick also has like there's just an importance to what does the Brunswick represent. And so at some point, I just switched it, and I mean, I have Google Doc manuscripts where it for a while it's as long as you have left, as long as I have left, I don't whatever the phrase is, and then it switches to the Brunswick. And so I think it's been the right move. I will say what's interesting is there is a town called Brunswick, Georgia, and the book is not set there. The book is set in Norcross, Georgia, at a hotel called the Brunswick. So there has been a little confusion. I've had a couple people from that town reach out all excited, and I'm like, actually Georgia, but not where you're located.
Right, right. Not the same location. I love that. Thank you so much for giving us the tea about that title. Now, we're going to dig in a little deeper because we want to find out from you, Callie, what first drew you to this story, the Brunswick? Was it the hotel? Was it that era? Was it the people at its heart? What drew you to this story?
Yeah, so I knew I wanted to write historical fiction. Was when I had
Uh-huh.
kind of the idea of, can I write a novel? I was like, historical fiction will be the genre. And then World War II, particularly the time leading up to World War II, was kind of the time period wanted to hone in on. And then I knew foster care and adoption was kind of an interest of mine. So I Googled foster care World War II, and I found a true story in the depths of the internet about a Jewish couple in Philadelphia that traveled overseas to Nazi occupied Austria and brought 50 children back on kind of a loophole with the visa
Uh-huh.
system. And a fascinating story. And I read a memoir, watched a documentary, and that kind of inspired the premise of the Brunswick. But I could not picture Philadelphia. I think I've been once. I Googled it. I just couldn't. I don't know. It wasn't speaking to me. But
Right.
I live in my little town in Norcross, and I know our history. And I just started imagining it in Norcross. And that's
Wow.
the beauty of fiction, I think, is you can just kind of say, well, what if this story, what if instead of being brought back to Philadelphia, they came to this old hotel? And so I think I started with time and then setting, and then the characters came a bit later. And I mean, that was my favorite part for sure. I loved watching the characters develop.
Wow, I love that. Now, I want to find out from this. What was that first element of this story that captured Callie's attention and would not let it go? Like, I have to write this story.
Yeah. So the premise is it's about uh, it's about people in America that go overseas and bring Jewish refugee children back to America until their parents can come. And I think what captivated me was thinking about actually these parents in Austria, and like, what would it take for you to take your children and say, I'm going to send you with strangers on a boat across the ocean? Like,
Wow.
I mean, it was going like, there's that first, like, how could you? And then going, no, this is like the ultimate love. And also, how bad were conditions? How bad must it have been? And for you to have done that. So I think that was the thing that I just couldn't shake, you know?
Mhm.
And then I think it was interesting for the folks in America to kind of grapple with it. And what
Yeah.
does that all mean?
Now, I want to ask you this. Let's talk a little bit about research.
Mhm.
And I'm sure you probably went down some rabbit holes and all the things. But what was the research like for this story for Callie?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously Google's helpful, but then because of Norcross history, I was able to use a couple of Norcross specific books. We have a historian, Gene Ramsey, who's this delightful guy who has put together, yeah, like he's taken all of our photographs and written personal histories. And so I read his book, but then I also um, was able to meet with him, and he also read an early draft, and that was unbelievably helpful. So
Really?
yeah, and I mean, he sat down with me, and I wanted this, like, "Tell me it's wonderful, tell me you love it," but he was just like, boom, 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 a list of, like, "This food wouldn't have been sold there," and, "That wouldn't have been true," and "Fix this," and it was so helpful, and so, yeah, I'm super grateful for Gene and all of his research and what he brought to.
Yeah. And it's almost like he was giving you the inside scoop because you want the stories to be as authentic as they can. So I'm sure that you was like, yes, tell me more, tell me more.
Totally.
Yes. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit more about this research. Okay. So Callie, if you can spill a little tea, what's a piece of research that you found out that shocked you? Like it was clutching your pearl moment.
Oh, good question. Well, at some point, so 1939 is the time period. This is before the war had started. And
Okay.
and so Nazi occupation is going on in Austria and Germany, but like in America, Americans didn't really know what was happening. And it kind of felt like not a big deal. And
Okay.
so I think one thing that was fascinating to me was in Austria, um, again, pre-war, there was a hotel. It was Gestapo headquarters. So this is the Nazi secret police. And they used the basement to, torture prisoners, basically. And
Wow.
I think it was wild to read about that and to realize this was, again, before the war had even begun. And so,
Mm-hmm.
like, all of a sudden, Nazis show up and are bad. Like,
Wow.
it was a long, long buildup.
Wow. Oh my goodness. And I'm sure that was shocking for you as well. And were there anything in your research that caused you to go down a rabbit hole to find out more about it?
Yeah. So, yeah, we end up spending, excuse me, a good deal of time in Austria at some point. And my first few drafts, that wasn't the case. It was kind of like everything's over there, but the story was in Norcross. And so I think as I started, yeah, later in the drafting editing process, we spent more time in Austria, and
Mhm.
I think it brought a lot to the story.
Wow. Wow. Now you hint on something earlier that I am so here for it. Let's talk about the Brunswick as a character, or the Brunswick, the building as a character, because it is so much a character in this book. Now, the Brunswick isn't just like a setting. It's like its legacy. It's a burden. It's a sanctuary. It's kind of all those things wrapped up into one. But for you, Callie, as the author, how did you approach writing a place that holds so many identities at once?
Yeah, good question. Yes, the Brunswick is an old hotel. It was built. Cora is our main character, and it was built by Cora's dad. And you're right. Like, the Brunswick for Cora's dad was this kind of like, after he came out of the Great War, it was like where he poured all of his energy, and it was kind of his pride and joy. It was open the same month that Cora was born, so they were kind of viewed as the twins. But for Cora, it's kind of become her burden. And
Mhm.
as her dad is kind of like suffering through his own mental illness, she has to keep the Brunswick afloat. She turns it into a
Yeah.
junk store. And so it's almost like she's jealous of it in some ways. She's kind of got this resentment built up. But then the Brunswick kind of has its own renaissance as it's being used, or asked to be used for new purposes. And so, um, yeah, it's a hotel, it's walls, right? It really did kind of get to have a whole lot more deeper meaning.
I love that. Now, if you guys are just joining us, I saw someone to put in the comment section. The book that we're talking about on today at the cafe, it is called The Brunswick. It is by Callie Murray. It's been out just a couple of weeks, and she is spilling the new book on today. It is historical fiction. You guys know that I am a historical fiction girly. I love me a good historical fiction as well. Now, I want for you to share a little bit more about the Brunswick, and I'm going to ask you some questions, and then we're going to dive into these amazing characters that make up this book. But what does that hotel represent for Cora at the beginning, and how does that meaning shift a little bit as the story unfolds?
Yeah, so I think the Brunswick really is a burden for Cora at the
Mm.
beginning. Like I said, like, there's some resentment built up. She's in debt because of how her father had kind of left it. Um,
Yeah,
and I think the Brunswick over time becomes way more about the people that kind of come through its walls and call it home, and way
yeah.
less about, yeah, the building, the dollars, all of that. So, um, yeah, I think Cora used the Brunswick for a long time to kind of prove her worth, and I think instead she kind of found her value and found love, uh,
Yeah, yeah,
elsewhere.
I agree.
Mhm.
Guys, if you're just joining us, we are hanging out with Callie Murray on today. Her new one that's hot off the press is called The Brunswick. And of course, if you have a question or two, put it in the comment section as well. Now, I have one last question about The Brunswick, and then we're going to kind of move over to the characters. But was there a moment when The Brunswick surprised you as you were writing? And so you can look at it as The Brunswick as the book as a whole, and then also The Brunswick, the building.
Yeah, I would say Cora's relationship with her dad surprised me.
Mm.
I think, again, in early drafts, it was kinda different, and it kind of just was like, wrapped up real happy, and the dad kind of like turns around real quick, and and I had a friend say, you need to make this a little more authentic. Go sit
Mhm.
with this and really think through it some more.
Yeah.
And great advice. And I think their relationship got a lot more real, and it was a big turning point for me as a writer. I mean, I feel like I got emotional writing it. I read it again recently and felt emotional, and I've heard from readers that that was kind of a big important moment. So, yeah, I think Cora's relationship with her dad was a big surprise for me.
Wow. Wow. Now, we have to talk about these characters a little bit. And of course, we'll start with Cora since she shared her with us. Now, what can you tell us about Cora? Can you kind of sum her up in about 5 words or more? But what would you say about her character?
Yeah, Cora, well, gosh, 5, it's gonna be 5, it's gonna be more than 5 words. Uh, Cora carries the weight of the world on her shoulders. So, her mom left, her dad's mentally unwell, and she is just trying so hard to kinda, like, earn his love, be loved, and keep everything together. And so, I would say Cora also has this spunk, and she kinda has this, like she's got this strength to her, and she's not going to just be like told what to do, and so that kind of wars within her a little bit. And yeah, I think Cora ultimately is trying to figure out how to accept love for just Cora, not for what she's producing in the world.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Now, let's talk a little bit about Thomas' character. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, Thomas, it's funny, Thomas looks a lot like my husband. There's things about Thomas.
Really?
He's got a scar above his lip that comes from my husband. There's so anyway, when I think of Thomas, that's funny. That's who I picture. I don't know about writing subsequent novels. They probably can't all look like him, but but Thomas in the book is he is steady. He is this like he's got these brothers that have these big personalities, but Thomas is going to be like steady and dependable. He wants some simplicity. They lost their mom, and they've had kind of a tumultuous couple years, and so he comes to Norcross looking for just simplicity. But instead, he finds Cora, and he comes in real early in the book asking for a job at the Brunswick, and Thomas has this. He's got a strength to him. He's kind of grappling with what his legacy is from his mom, and after she passed, kind of what he wants to take away from her life. And yeah, that's sweet, steady Thomas.
Yes. Now, of course, we have to talk a little bit about Charlotte's character. What can you tell us about her? We can't leave her out.
Yes. Okay, Charlotte's 10 years old, but she is like an old soul. So she's
Mhm.
super perceptive. She's yeah, only child from her parents. She's in Vienna, so she's in Austria, and she's watching her parents, I mean, deal with this whole Nazi occupation and what this looks like. Her dad's taken to a concentration camp, and her mom's having to wrestle with, what do we do? Do we wait for him to come back? Do we leave? What does all that look like? So Charlotte is kind of forced to be a grown up earlier than she should be, and she sometimes she wants to make decisions that are grown up decisions, and other times she just wants to be held by her mom, and so yeah, that's Charlotte.
I love that. Now, think about all the characters that make up the Brunswick, okay, Callie? And can you share with us or spill some tea? Is there a character that was interesting, borderline fun for Callie to write? But on the flip side, is there a character that was just a little more complex?
Yeah. I mean, I think about John. John is
Mm.
John Watkins. So he is Thomas's dad. He's the
Yeah.
pharmacist. And he is kind of a conglomerate of a lot of people in my own life. I see my father-in-law in him. My grandfather was a pharmacist, and so it's funny. His name's Tyre, my grandfather, and Tyre. So for many drafts, John was named Tyre, but I got the feedback that no one knew how to pronounce it. Like, is it Tyree? Is it Tyre? So
Yeah.
anyway, so he turned into John, but John is super wise. He's in the middle of grief. And so I think that was an interesting one to write because he, I mean, he'd be sad and broken at times, but then he'd also have this like beautiful wisdom and this beautiful marriage to kind of draw back on. And so I've had friends and readers reach out about certain things that John said. And every time they compliment John, I think of my father-in-law and the things that, he had said to us. So
Yeah.
John to me was a fun one. And then Billy for sure. Billy's Cora's best friend. She's last. Yeah. Yeah. She was so fun to write. And she's a
Yes.
combination of all my best girlfriends. Like I see different pieces of them in Billy for sure.
I love that. I love that. Now, I have to ask you this, Callie. So, out of all these characters that we talked about, my friend, which one of those characters surprised you the most
Surprised
on
me the
how
most.
they showed up?
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's Cora's dad. I don't know. I
Really?
Yeah, just because I mean, I don't wanna give too much away, any
Right.
spoilers, but um, I think there's a complexity to Cora's dad where it's like you wanna just kinda hate him and be like, "Stop treating her that way and just get out of your bed," and, but then I think there's some like, I felt a surprising compassion towards him because of what he had gone through and all the shame he carried,
Yeah.
and so, he was an interesting one to write because I wanted to honor how terrible he was being, but also have some hope that he's still a human being that could change.
Wow. Wow. Oh my goodness. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, we're going to switch gears just a little bit here, Callie. I'm going to give you three words, my friend. And when I give you these three words, you can kind of combine them together and let me know the first thing that comes to mind when you hear those three words together. So the first one is, or the first set is hope, resilience, belonging. Hope, resilience, belonging. What comes to mind when you hear that as it pertains to the Brunswick?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I think about Thomas. I think just with
Mm.
Thomas has kind of this storyline along a hope, and then I think he's also kind of looking for where he does belong in the world.
Mhm.
He left Chicago because of kind of some hurtful things that had happened, and so yeah, that's my first thought is kind of Thomas's experience.
Wow. Wow. Okay, the next set compassion, courage, choice. Compassion, courage, choice. What comes to mind?
Okay. That's so interesting. I'm wanting to know what you were thinking. Like, am I gonna get it right or wrong? But,
No,
uh,
it's someone knows how it is. All things according to you. No right or wrong answer.
alright, so I'm thinking George and Evelyn Cohen. So
Oh,
they're like this richer Jewish couple in the town, and they are presented with this opportunity to, go overseas and lead this kind of like rescue mission, kinder transport. And so I
yeah.
think compassion what was it? Compassion, choice, courage?
Compassion, courage, and choice. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, George and Evelyn, I would say.
I
Um,
agree. Wow. Like now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yes.
like
Okay,
think about
last set.
and think
Love. Oh, go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say for them, and they're inspired by a true couple, but imagine being a Jewish couple that then goes to Nazi occupied land in 1939, like that's a whole lot of courage.
Wow. Now, see, I told you guys she may spill a little tea, she may spill a lot, but there will be some tea spilling. And I think she just spilled some tea as well. Now, love, shelter, strength. That's the last set. Love, shelter, strength.
Um, I mean, maybe I'll say the Brunswick. So the Brunswick as the character, I feel like that's kind of what it housed there by the end. I think maybe that's kind of how Cora began to think of it.
I love that. I love that. Guys, if you're just joining us, I'm hanging out with Callie Murray on today. Her latest release is called The Brunswick. We'll be sharing with you in just a bit of how you can get your hands on a copy of this amazing story as well. Now, Callie, we're going to switch it up just a little bit, my friend. We're going to play a round of rapid fire. I promise you, again, there's no right or wrong answer. I will give you instructions or a phrase or a word. And again, just the first thing that comes to mind. So, rapid fire. Are you ready, my friend?
Nervous. Okay, let's go.
Okay, first one. A song that feels like the Brunswick.
Okay. Sing with All Your Heart by Mission House. So this
Oh,
is
wow.
she's Jess Ray and Taylor Leonhardt are this like folk duo, and they have a band called Mission House, and their song is yeah, Sing with All Your Heart. It's beautiful. Um it talks about community. Yep.
I love that. Now, let me ask you this, Callie. Is there a playlist that you created for this book, The Brunswick? Just asking for a friend, just asking.
Well, it's funny. So Mission House came and did my launch party for the Brunswick a couple weeks ago. And so
Uh-huh.
I would say, yeah, just their album is the playlist. There it's
I
all these
love that.
yeah.
Look, Callie, I love a good book playlist. So thank you for sharing that with us as well. Now, next one, um, Cora in one word.
Um Feisty is the first one
Okay.
to mind, which no, that's
Cool.
not the right word, but I'm
Okay.
gonna with it for now.
Okay. Billy in one word.
Billy's feisty. Yeah, Cora, that was the wrong word for Cora, but Cora wants to be feisty.
Now, this is a good one. This is a good one, and I think we're going to give the people some tea. A character who quietly stole your heart, Callie. A character who quietly stole your heart.
Ooh, um, I would say Dean. Dean is the older brother. He's like the professional wrestler,
Ooh.
and I think Dean had such a tenderness towards him, and so
Hmm.
yeah, I have softness towards him.
Wow. There you have it, guys. Dean, she softly stole her heart. I love it. I love it. Now, the Brunswick in one word.
Um, I would say, yeah, community.
Okay, community. I love that. I love that. Now, we're going to switch it up just a little bit. We're going to do this or that. I promise you, there is no right or wrong answer, Callie, but it is this or that, the Brunswick edition. All
Okay.
right, first up, Grand Hotel Pass or Humble General Store Present.
This is a preference, or what is the
Yeah, it's this or that, and it's the It deals with the Brunswick. So whatever you think,
the general store? That's
the
where
general store.
that's been where my brain has been for the last couple of years. Yep.
Okay, I love that. Now this is a good one. Cora, duty first or heart first? What would Cora say? Duty first or heart first?
She was duty first for so long.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Mhm.
Thomas, healing through work or healing through connection?
He was healing through connection as hard as it was.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. Okay. Charlotte, holding tight or letting go?
Oh, man, those are good. Um, ultimately, it was letting go. That was
Ooh, I love that. I love that. Thank
yep.
you so much for playing around or this or that and rapid fire. I love that. And spilling a little bit of tea with your answers as well. Now, of course, guys, there is a giveaway on today. Our publisher, they are sponsoring the giveaway. It is a copy of the Brunswick. And so, Callie, I'm going to get you to help me, my friend. I'm going to go up and down the comment section. You're going to tell me when to stop. And when I stop, that person will be the winner of a copy of the Brunswick. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, let me get all my stuff ready. Okay, I'm ready when you are and when you tell me to stop.
Okay, stop.
Okay. And it should be ESP Presents. You are the winner, my friend. If you will inbox me your information, we will make sure that we get you your copy of the Brunswick. So congratulations. Thank you so much for joining us on today. So ESP Presents, she is the winner of the giveaway on today. Now, of course, guys, I know the moment that you guys have been waiting for. How can you get your hands on a copy of the Brunswick? And so we're going to get Callie to share with us of how they can get a copy of the Brunswick and where it's sold.
Yeah, so it's sold in all major retailers, and this is a fun little tea for you is the first print run actually sold out the day before release date. So
Really?
I've heard it's currently back ordered for stores and that type of thing, but Amazon I know has some, and I think whatever stores bought from the first print run still have some. There's also audiobook and ebook, so obviously those are available now. Yeah.
I love that. Did y'all hear that? The Brunswick is available in all formats, whatever suits your fancy. So it's available in audiobook, ebook, and print. You can get it where books are sold as well. And I'll also be putting a link in the comments for Baker Book Group. You can also order it from their bookstore as well. Callie, oh my goodness, my friend, the time goes by so fast. It has been amazing hanging out with you today to talk about the Brunswick. And so, of course, my friend, you have to share with us, how can we stay connected with you?
Yeah, thank you. CallieMurray.com. I've got a newsletter there where I get to share some stories, and then Callie Murray on Instagram. And then I've got a Facebook page as well.
I love that. I love that. And Callie, last question, my friend. The Brunswick, the book. I want for you to tell us the Brunswick in one sentence.
Brunswick's a story about the complicated choices love requires.
I love that. I love that, guys. And there you have it. We'll be sure to put Callie's information in the comment section. Make sure you're following her on social media as well. Callie, can you share with them your website? And is there a newsletter?
Yep. Yeah. CallieMurray.com. And then I have a link to my newsletter there. It's on a Substack. Yep.
I love that. I love that, guys. Make sure that you go to her website. Make sure you sign up for her newsletter and all the things. And not only that, guys, once you get a copy of the Brunswick and you read it, be sure to leave her a review. I know that Callie would be so appreciative of that. Not only that, tell a friend to tell a friend about this amazing story. In addition to that, book clubs that are out there. Let me just tell you, there is lots of things to talk about in this book, The Brunswick. So it's a great book for book clubs. Whether you buddy read, whether you read it individually, get you a copy of the Brunswick. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Callie, my friend, and thank you for joining me at the cafe and for spilling some tea. And of course, my friend, I have to allow you the last words of what you want to say to the people today.
Oh, thank you. This is such an honor. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it and find a piece of your own story in the book.
I love that, guys. And until next time, we'll see you later. As we always say here at the cafe, have an amazing day, because Callie and I, we are having an amazing day. And until next time, we will see you later. Bye-bye. Make sure you get a copy of The Brunswick by Callie Murray. See you later.